20 lessons win your mind and emotions. Who is controlling your life right now? You or your emotions? Take a moment and be honest with yourself. When you wake up in the morning, do you truly decide how you feel, how you think, how you act, or do your emotions decide for you? Stress decides your mood. Fear decides your choices. Overthinking steals your sleep. One small problem happens, and your mind runs for hours, replaying the same scene again and again. You try to calm down, but the more you try, the louder your thoughts become. You know this feeling. Almost everyone watching this video knows it. You want to be calm, but your heart races. You want to focus, but your mind jumps everywhere. You want to feel confident, but anxiety whispers, "What if you fail?" And slowly, without realizing it, your emotions start controlling your life. They decide when you feel happy, when you feel tired, when you give up, and when you stop believing in yourself. And here's the painful part. Many of you are also learning English. You study, you listen, you try every day. You understand the words. You know the grammar. But when it's time to speak, your emotions take over. Fear blocks your voice. Shame tightens your chest. Overthinking freezes your mind. You don't fail because you're not smart. You don't fail because your English is bad. You fail because your emotions are louder than your confidence. Stress tells you that you're not good enough. Overthinking tells you that people will judge you. Fear tells you to stay silent. And little by little, you start losing trust in yourself. You feel tired, not just physically, but mentally. You feel like you are trying so hard, yet nothing changes. If this feels familiar, listen to me carefully. There is nothing wrong with you. You are not weak. You are not broken. You are simply untrained. Nobody ever taught you how to control your mind. Nobody ever showed you how to work with your emotions instead of fighting them. School teaches you facts. Life gives you pressure. But no one teaches you how to stay calm inside chaos. How to think clearly under stress. How to stand strong when emotions attack. And that is exactly why this video exists. This is not just an English listening practice. This is a moment for you to slow down, to breathe, and to reconnect with yourself. As you listen to my voice, you are not only training your English ears, you are also training your mind to feel, to reflect, and to regain control. You don't need to understand every word. You don't need to be perfect. Just listen. Let the rhythm of English flow into you. Let the message sink in. Because if you can learn to control your mind and emotions, everything else becomes easier. Your English improves. Your confidence grows. Your life feels lighter. This video is your first step. Not to change everything at once, but to begin. So stay with me. Don't scroll away. Don't let your emotions decide again. This time, you decide. This video is not here to impress you with difficult words or complicated ideas. It is here to give you something much more valuable. Control. Control over your mind. control over your emotions, and control over the direction of your life. As you listen, you are not only practicing English, you are training the most powerful tool you will ever own, your mind. Many people learn English by memorizing rules and vocabulary, but they still feel nervous, tense, and blocked when they listen or speak. That is because language is not only a skill of the brain, it is also a skill of emotion. When your mind is calm, English flows naturally. When your emotions are balanced, understanding becomes easier. This video helps you build that inner balance. The lessons you will hear are simple, practical, and deeply human. They are not theories from a textbook. They are tools you can use in real life. When you feel stressed, when you overthink, when your emotions feel too heavy to handle. At the same time, your ears are getting used to natural English rhythm, real sentence patterns, and meaningful vocabulary used in context. You are learning English the way it should be learned, through understanding, feeling, and repetition, not pressure. This video is suitable for many people. If you are learning English and want to improve your listening without feeling tired, this is for you. If you are feeling lost, anxious, or emotionally overwhelmed, this is for you. If you want to grow stronger inside while learning something useful, this is for you. You don't need to rush. You don't need to be perfect. Just listen, relax, and let the message work on you. Because this is not just English. This is life training in English. So as you continue listening, don't pressure yourself to understand every single word. You don't need to translate everything in your head. You don't need to stop, rewind, or judge yourself. Just listen with your ears and feel with your heart. Let the sound of English flow naturally, like music. When you listen this way, your mind relaxes and real learning begins. Language is not only about understanding meaning, it is about feeling rhythm, emotion, and intention. Even if you understand only 60 or 70%, that is more than enough. Your brain is still learning. Your confidence is still growing. Trust the process. Feel the pauses, the tone, the calm energy behind the words. This is how children learn language, and this is how you will learn too, naturally, gently, without fear. Stay present. Breathe. Allow yourself to enjoy the experience. You are not here to be perfect. You are here to connect, to grow, and to become stronger. One sentence, one feeling, one moment at a time. Lesson 1 is about something very simple, yet very dangerous. Temporary pleasure. This is the foundation of self-control, because if you cannot control small pleasures, you will never control big decisions in life. Temporary pleasure is anything that feels good right now but quietly damages you later. It does not look like an enemy. It looks friendly. It feels comfortable. It promises quick relief. And that is exactly why it becomes a trap. Think about those moments when you feel sad, tired, or lonely. You don't want to face the feeling, so you reach for your phone and start scrolling. One video becomes 10. 10 minutes become 1 hour. For a moment, You feel distracted. You feel less pain. But when you put the phone down, the problem is still there. And now you feel more empty, more tired, and sometimes even guilty. Or think about food. You are stressed, so you eat without thinking. You don't eat because you are hungry. You eat because you want comfort. Again, it feels good for a short time, but later your body feels heavy. Your energy drops, and your mind becomes foggy. This is how temporary pleasure slowly steals your power. Many successful people have spoken openly about this. Elon Musk once said that long-term thinking is one of the most important skills for success. He works while others rest, not because he enjoys suffering, but because he understands one truth. Comfort today often means pain tomorrow. Even athletes like Cristiano Ronaldo talk about this principle. While others sleep late, he trains. While others eat carelessly, he chooses discipline. Not because he is special, but because he chooses long-term strength over short-term pleasure. The same rule applies to you, no matter who you are. Self-control begins the moment you ask a powerful question before acting. What will this give me in 1 hour, 1 day, 1 month? If the answer is regret, weakness, or pain, then you already know what to do. Walk away. This does not mean you must become strict or unhappy. It means you become conscious. You stop living on autopilot. Here is a simple practice you can start today. The next time you feel the urge to escape, scrolling, overeating, wasting time, pause for just 10 seconds. Take one deep breath. Put your hand on your chest. Ask yourself, what am I really feeling right now? Often, it is not hunger or boredom. It is stress, loneliness, or fear. Then choose one small better action. Drink water instead of grabbing snacks. Walk for 5 minutes instead of scrolling. Write one sentence instead of watching one more video. These small choices may feel boring at first, but they build something powerful inside you. Trust in yourself. Remember this line and repeat it whenever you feel tempted. If it feels good now but hurts me later, it's a trap. Every time you choose the harder but right option, you become stronger. This is how warriors are built, not in big moments, but in small daily choices. Lesson 2 is about one of the most important skills you can ever develop, using intelligence instead of impulses. Most people believe they are thinking, but in reality, they are only reacting. Something happens, and immediately an emotion rises. Anger appears, fear appears, jealousy appears. And before the mind has time to understand what is happening, the mouth speaks, the fingers type, or the body acts. This is called reacting. Reacting is fast, emotional, and often regrettable. Responding, on the other hand, is slow, conscious, and powerful. When you respond, you choose your action instead of letting your emotions choose for you. The difference between these two may look small, but it can completely change your life. Think about a common situation. Someone criticizes you at work or online. Your impulse says, defend yourself. Attack back. Prove them wrong. Your heart beats faster. Your chest feels tight. If you react in that moment, you may say something harsh, something you don't truly mean. Later, when the emotion fades, regret arrives. Now compare this with responding. You pause. You breathe. You allow the emotion to exist without letting it control you. You ask yourself, is this worth my peace? Suddenly, you see clearly. You may choose to stay silent, or you may respond calmly and firmly. Either way, you keep your power. Many wise and successful people practice this. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and philosopher, wrote that you always have the power to control your response, even when you cannot control events. In modern times, leaders, athletes, and speakers all train this skill because they know that one emotional reaction can destroy years of hard work. Intelligence is not about being cold or emotionless. It is about understanding emotions without obeying them. A simple but powerful technique to build this habit is stop, breathe, and count to 5. When something triggers you, don't speak immediately. Don't type immediately. Stop your body. Take one slow breath in through your nose. Then breathe out slowly. Count to 5 in your mind. Those 5 seconds create space between emotion and action. In that space, intelligence wakes up. You can ask better questions. Why am I feeling this way? What is the smartest response here? Will I be proud of this action later? At first, this will feel uncomfortable. Your impulses will scream louder. But each time you pause, you weaken the impulse and strengthen your intelligence. Here is a simple practice you can apply today. Choose one situation where you often lose control, maybe during arguments, stressful work moments, or when learning English and feeling embarrassed. Make a promise to yourself. I will not react immediately. I will pause. I will breathe. I will count to 5. Even if you fail sometimes, the practice itself is already success. Remember this line and let it guide you. Pause before you react. When you master this pause, you don't just control your emotions, you control your future. Lesson 3 is about mastering your 5 senses, because your senses are the gates to your mind. Everything you see, everything you hear, everything you eat, and everything you touch quietly shapes the way you think, feel, and live. Most people believe their thoughts come from nowhere, but that is not true. Thoughts are built from what enters your senses every single day. If you want a strong mind, you must first protect what you allow into it. Look at your eyes. What do you watch every day? News filled with fear, social media full of comparison, gossip, anger, and negativity. At first, you think it doesn't affect you. You say, I'm just watching. But slowly, your mind becomes restless. You feel anxious without knowing why. You start doubting yourself. This is not weakness. This is conditioning. The same is true for your ears. What do you listen to? Complaints, toxic conversations, sad music that keeps you stuck in pain, or people who always talk about problems but never solutions. Your brain absorbs these sounds like a sponge. Over time, they become your inner voice. Even food matters more than people think. When you eat carelessly, emotionally, or constantly choose unhealthy food, your body becomes heavy and your mind becomes foggy. A weak body often creates a weak mind. And touch matters too. Constant tension, lack of movement, endless phone use, no sunlight, no real connection. All of this affects your nervous system and emotional balance. Many high performers understand this deeply. Steve Jobs was famous for controlling his environment. He chose silence, simplicity, and focus because he knew that clarity outside creates clarity inside. Monks, athletes, and artists all do the same in different ways. They guard their senses because they guard their mind. Here is the powerful truth. You cannot expect a positive, focused, peaceful mind if you feed it negativity all day. It is like planting flowers in poisoned soil and hoping they will grow. Mastering your senses is not about becoming strict or isolated. It is about becoming intelligent. It is about choosing what deserves your attention. Start with small, practical actions. Choose one thing today. Replace 10 minutes of random scrolling with one calm, meaningful video or silence. Replace negative background noise with peaceful music or nothing at all. Eat one meal mindfully without your phone. Go for a short walk and feel your feet touching the ground. Touch real life instead of only screens. These small choices clean your mental energy. Over time, your thoughts become clearer. Your emotions become lighter. Learning English becomes easier because your mind is no longer overloaded. Remember this sentence and let it guide you every day. What enters your senses enters your mind. When you protect your senses, you protect your future. Lesson 4. Choose your memories carefully. Most people think their suffering comes from what is happening right now, but in reality, much of their pain comes from what they keep remembering. The mind has a strange habit of traveling backward, replaying moments that are already over. You allow those memories to define who you are today. But here is the truth you need to hear slowly and clearly. The past is not a prison. It only becomes one when you refuse to leave it. You cannot change what happened, but you can change which memories you carry forward. Every failure contains two stories. One is the story of falling. The other is the story of standing back up. Most people replay the fall. Very few replay the strength it took to rise again. And the mind becomes what it repeatedly remembers. If you keep feeding your mind images of defeat, it will learn fear. If you feed it memories of resilience, it will learn courage. You are not weak because you were hurt. You are strong because you survived what tried to break you. The scars you carry are not proof of failure. They are evidence of endurance. When a painful memory appears, do not fight it and do not drown in it. Pause and ask yourself one powerful question. What did this moment teach me that I did not know before? The answer is the part worth keeping. Let the lesson stay. and let the pain go. Your future does not need permission from your past. You are allowed to grow beyond old versions of yourself. You are allowed to remember differently. And the moment you choose memories of strength over memories of suffering, your emotions begin to change. Your confidence quietly returns, and your mind starts to feel lighter. Remember this whenever the past tries to pull you backward. You are not your scars. You are your strength. Lesson 5. Use auto-suggestion. Your mind is always listening, even when you think it is tired, distracted, or silent. Every quiet sentence you repeat inside yourself slowly becomes a direction, and over time, that direction becomes your reality. Most people do not realize that they are constantly using auto-suggestion already, but in the negative way. When you repeat, "I can't do this," your body tightens. When you say, "I always fail," your motivation disappears. When you tell yourself, "I'm not good enough," your mind accepts it as truth, not because it is true, but because it is repeated. The brain does not argue with repetition. It believes what it hears again and again. This is why auto-suggestion is not magic. It is training. When you consciously choose your inner words, you begin to reprogram your emotional responses. Simple phrases are enough. You do not need long speeches. You do not need to convince anyone else. You only need consistency. When stress appears, gently say, "I am calm." When your thoughts feel chaotic, repeat, "I control my mind." At first, these words may feel fake, uncomfortable, or weak. That is normal. New thoughts always feel unnatural in a mind trained by old patterns. But repetition is patient. Each time you repeat a calming sentence, your nervous system listens. Your breathing slows. Your muscles soften. Your emotions begin to follow your words. Auto-suggestion works best when it is calm, slow, and repeated daily, not when it is forced or emotional. You are not trying to lie to yourself. You are teaching your mind a new language. Over time, the mind starts to accept these phrases as familiar. And what is familiar becomes believable. What becomes believable becomes automatic. This is how calm replaces panic, clarity replaces confusion, and confidence replaces self-doubt. The most important conversations in your life are the ones you have with yourself, in silence, when no one else is listening. Choose those words carefully, because they shape how you feel, how you act, and how you live. Remember this whenever your mind feels out of control. Repetition creates belief. Lesson 6. Understand emotions. Don't fight them. Most people grow up believing that emotions are problems that need to be controlled, hidden, or defeated. From a young age, we are taught to suppress anger, ignore fear, and feel ashamed of sadness. So when strong emotions appear, the first reaction is to fight them, push them away, or pretend they are not there. But emotions are not enemies. They are signals. They are messages sent by the mind and body to protect you, guide you, and prepare you. Anger often appears when something feels unfair, when a boundary has been crossed, or when your values are being ignored. Fear often shows up when something important is at risk, when you need to prepare, slow down, or pay closer attention. These emotions are not trying to hurt you. They are trying to help you. The problem begins when you react without understanding. When anger controls your actions, it creates regret. When fear controls your decisions, it creates limitation. But when you pause and observe an emotion instead of fighting it, something changes. Awareness creates space, and in that space, control returns. Instead of saying, "I am angry," try saying, "I notice anger." Instead of saying, "I am afraid," say, "I notice fear." This small shift separates who you are from what you feel. You are not the emotion. You are the one observing it. When you name an emotion, your nervous system begins to calm. Your breathing slows. Your thoughts become clearer. The emotion no longer needs to shout to be heard. You do not need to judge it. You do not need to act on it. You only need to listen to the message it carries. Once the message is understood, the emotion naturally loses its intensity. This is how emotional intelligence grows, not through force, but through understanding, not through suppression, but through awareness. When you stop fighting your emotions, you stop fighting yourself. And when you learn to listen calmly, emotions become guides instead of obstacles. Remember this when feelings feel overwhelming. Name it, and you can tame it. Lesson 7. Surround yourself with empowering people. Many people try to change their life without realizing that they are breathing the same emotional air every day. The truth is, the people around you quietly shape the way you think, feel, and see yourself. You may believe your thoughts are completely your own, but over time, attitudes, beliefs, and emotional habits are absorbed from the environment you live in. When you spend your days with people who complain, criticize, and see problems everywhere, your mind slowly learns to do the same. Negativity becomes normal. Doubt becomes familiar. Even your dreams begin to feel heavy. On the other hand, when you are around people who support you, who speak with hope, who believe in growth and possibility, something inside you starts to lift. You don't need them to motivate you directly. Their mindset becomes contagious. Their calm becomes your calm. Their courage reminds you of your own. This is because human beings are emotional mirrors. We reflect what we are surrounded by. Empowering people do not mean perfect people. They are not always happy, confident, or successful, but they take responsibility for their lives. They encourage effort instead of excuses. They listen instead of judge. They help you grow without making you feel small. Negative people often don't realize the damage they cause. They repeat fear. They repeat limitations. They repeat stories of why things can't work. And the more you listen, the more those stories start to feel like truth. This is why choosing your environment is not selfish. It is survival. You are allowed to protect your mental space. You are allowed to distance yourself from conversations that drain your energy. You are allowed to choose growth over familiarity. When you change who you spend time with, you change what your mind considers normal. And what feels normal eventually becomes who you are. Look around and ask yourself gently, not with judgment but with honesty, do the people around me pull me forward or hold me back? Your answer matters more than you think, because over time, without noticing, you become the average of the people you spend time with. Lesson 8. Focus on one thing at a time. Modern life quietly trains the mind to be everywhere at once. Notifications pull your attention in different directions. Thoughts jump from one task to another, and you begin to believe that doing many things at the same time means being productive. But multitasking is an illusion. The mind cannot truly focus on several things at once. It only switches rapidly between them, losing energy each time it moves. Over time, this constant switching creates mental fatigue, shallow thinking, and emotional stress. You may feel busy all day and still feel unsatisfied at night. Focus, on the other hand, is calm. When you give your full attention to one thing, the mind relaxes because it knows where it needs to be. Clarity appears. Energy stops leaking. This is why deep focus feels peaceful, not stressful. One simple way to train focus is to work in clear blocks of time. Choose one task. Set aside 25 to 50 minutes. During that time, do only that task. No messages, no checking, no jumping ahead. When your mind wanders, gently bring it back, not with frustration, but with patience. Each return strengthens your focus muscle. At first, your mind may resist. It may feel uncomfortable, restless, or bored. That is not a sign of failure. That is the sound of distraction leaving your system. Focus is not about forcing the mind. It is about teaching it where to rest. When you focus fully, you experience something rare in modern life: presence. You stop rushing. You stop scattering your energy. You begin to feel engaged instead of overwhelmed. And this applies not only to work, but to learning, listening, and living. When you practice English, focus only on listening. When you eat, only eat. When you walk, only walk. Life becomes lighter when it is not divided. Remember this simple truth whenever your attention feels scattered. Where focus goes, energy flows. Lesson 9. Challenge negative thoughts. The human mind creates thousands of thoughts every single day, and most of them appear automatically, without permission, without warning. Many people believe that because a thought appears, it must be true. But this belief quietly becomes one of the biggest sources of suffering. A thought is not a fact. It is only a mental event, passing through awareness like a cloud in the sky. Yet when a negative thought appears, I'm not good enough, I always fail, this will never work, the body reacts as if it were reality. Emotions tighten, energy drops, confidence disappears. The problem is not the thought itself, but the belief you give it. You cannot stop thoughts from coming. Trying to do so only creates more tension, but you can choose whether to believe them or not. The moment a negative thought appears, pause and ask one simple question. Is this thought 100% true? Not partly true, not emotionally true, 100% true. Most of the time, the answer is no. That small question creates distance between you and the thought. It breaks the automatic connection. Instead of being inside the thought, you become the observer of it. And when you observe, you regain power. Negative thoughts lose their strength when they are questioned. They survive only when they are believed. You don't need to argue with them. You don't need to replace them immediately with positive ones. Just don't give them blind trust. Let them pass. Let them fade. Over time, this practice trains emotional freedom. You begin to realize that thoughts come and go, but you remain. And in that realization, calm grows. Remember this whenever your mind feels heavy. You can't stop thoughts, but you can stop believing them. Lesson 10. Visualize your goals. The mind has a powerful secret. It does not clearly separate what is real from what is vividly imagined. When you imagine something with emotion, detail, and repetition, your brain responds as if the experience is happening now. This is why visualization is not dreaming, it is mental rehearsal. Athletes use it. Performers use it. Leaders use it. When you visualize your goals, you are training your nervous system to feel familiar with success before it arrives. Imagine yourself speaking English calmly and confidently. See your posture. Hear your voice. Feel the ease in your breathing. The more real the image, the stronger the emotional response. And emotion is what programs the mind. Visualization builds belief quietly. It reduces fear because the mind has already been there. It increases motivation because the future feels reachable, not distant. Many people wait to feel confident before they act. Visualization reverses this process. You feel it first, then you live it. You don't need long sessions. A few minutes a day is enough. Close your eyes. See the version of yourself you are becoming. Not perfect, just progressing. The mind follows images faster than words. And when your inner image changes, your behavior naturally follows. You begin to act in alignment with who you see yourself becoming. Remember this simple truth as you visualize your future. See it before you live it. Lesson 11. Set clear intentions. An intention is not a goal. A goal is about the future, and intention is about how you choose to be right now. It is the direction you set for your mind before the world starts pulling you in different directions. Without intention, the mind reacts. With intention, the mind responds. When you wake up and do not choose your mental direction, emotions choose it for you. Stress decides your tone. Distraction decides your focus. Other people decide your mood. But when you set a clear intention, you give your mind a compass. It doesn't need to be complicated. Simple is powerful. Today, I stay calm. Today, I listen more than I react. Today, I focus on progress, not perfection. These sentences may seem small, but they quietly guide your decisions throughout the day. When challenges appear, your intention reminds you who you chose to be. It doesn't remove difficulty, but it changes your response. Intentions bring consistency. They align your energy. They reduce inner conflict. You stop fighting yourself because you already know your direction. And where the mind goes repeatedly, energy follows naturally. This is why intention is not motivation. Motivation comes and goes. Intention stays. Begin each day by choosing one intention. Let it be your anchor. Because energy flows where intention goes. Tip 12. Develop self-discipline. Many people wait for motivation to change their life, but motivation is emotional, unstable, and unreliable. Some days you wake up feeling inspired and ready to work, and other days you feel tired, distracted, or discouraged. If your progress depends on motivation, your growth will always be inconsistent. Self-discipline is different. Discipline is not about forcing yourself or becoming strict and cold. It is quiet strength. It is the ability to do what matters even when you do not feel like doing it. It is choosing long-term growth over short-term comfort. True discipline begins with small actions, not dramatic changes. 5 minutes of focused practice each day is more powerful than one intense effort once a week. When you commit to small, daily actions, you build trust with yourself. Each time you keep a promise, no matter how small, your confidence grows. Your mind starts to believe that you are someone who follows through. This belief becomes part of your identity. Discipline is not about punishment. It is about respect. When you discipline yourself, you are telling your future self, you matter. Many people misunderstand discipline because they associate it with pressure and guilt. But healthy discipline is gentle and consistent. It does not shout. It does not threaten. It simply shows up again and again. For time, these small actions compound. What feels insignificant today becomes transformation tomorrow. Discipline removes the need for constant decision-making. When habits are in place, you no longer argue with yourself about whether to act. You simply act. This reduces mental fatigue and emotional stress. Discipline creates freedom because it frees you from relying on mood. You don't need to feel confident to practice. You don't need to feel ready to begin. You begin because it is your routine. Look at people who achieve long-term success. They are not more motivated than others. They are more consistent. Athletes train even when they are tired. Writers write even when inspiration is absent. Language learners practice even when progress feels slow. This is how mastery is built. Discipline also protects you from self-sabotage. When emotions are strong, discipline provides structure. It keeps you grounded when your mind wants to escape into distractions or excuses. It is a form of self-care, not self-control. You are caring for your future clarity, confidence, and stability. Discipline does not require perfection. You will miss days. You will feel resistance. That is normal. What matters is returning to the habit, returning to the intention. Each return strengthens resilience. Over time, discipline reshapes your relationship with effort. Effort becomes normal, not painful. Progress becomes steady, not stressful. And slowly, almost without noticing, you become someone who does difficult things calmly, someone who trusts themselves, someone who continues. Remember this whenever motivation disappears and excuses appear. Discipline beats motivation. Lesson 13. Practice mindfulness. Most of the suffering in human life does not come from what is happening right now, but from where the mind keeps wandering. The body may be sitting safely in the present, but the mind is often trapped in the past or racing toward the future. Regret pulls it backward. Worry pushes it forward. And in that movement, peace quietly disappears. Mindfulness is the practice of returning, not returning to perfection, not returning to control, but returning to this moment, exactly as it is. If this video helped you, even a little, please support the channel by liking, sharing, and subscribing. It truly helps us continue creating calm, meaningful English content for your mind and your life. And if you want to keep practicing English while strengthening your focus, emotions, and mindset, stay with us. More videos are coming, and each one is another step forward. Until we meet again, take a breath, be kind to yourself, and remember, you are not broken. You are healing. See you in the next video.